Welcome to Outdoor Oasis Ideas. Today, we're exploring the charming world of rural garden landscaping, focusing on creating a welcoming pathway adorned with a beautiful flower fence. This rustic yet elegant approach to garden design combines the natural beauty of the countryside with thoughtful landscaping techniques to create a truly inviting entrance to your home. The concept of a welcoming pathway, bordered by a flower fence, is deeply rooted in the traditions of rural gardening. It harkens back to a time when gardens were not just for show, but an integral part of daily life. This design approach creates a seamless transition between the natural landscape and your home, inviting both residents and visitors to slow down and appreciate the beauty around them. When designing a rural garden pathway, it's essential to consider the natural contours of the land. Unlike more formal garden designs, a country garden should flow with the landscape, embracing its natural undulations and features. The choice of materials for your pathway is crucial in setting the tone for your rural garden. Natural materials that blend with the surrounding landscape are ideal. Consider using locally sourced stone, gravel, or even wood chips. These materials not only look appropriate in a country setting, but also provide good drainage, which is essential for maintaining a healthy garden. For a truly rustic feel, consider creating a stepping stone path using large, flat rocks. These can be surrounded by low-growing ground cover plants or moss, creating a natural, almost fairy tale-like atmosphere. This approach works particularly well in shadier areas of the garden, where moss will thrive and create a lush, green carpet between the stones. If you prefer a more structured look, consider using reclaimed brick or weathered pavers. These materials offer a nice balance between rustic charm and a more defined pathway. They can be laid in interesting patterns to add visual interest, such as a herringbone design or a simple running bond pattern. As you plan your pathway, think about its purpose and how it will be used. Is it primarily a functional route from the street to your front door, or is it meant to be a meandering path through your garden? The answer to this question will help determine the width and course of your path. A main entrance path should be wide enough for two people to walk side by side comfortably, while a garden path can be narrower and more winding. Now let's turn our attention to the star of this garden design, the flower fence. A flower fence is a delightful way to create a soft, natural boundary that welcomes rather than excludes. It's a living fence that changes with the seasons, offering an ever-evolving display of colors, textures, and fragrances. When selecting plants for your flower fence, consider a mix of perennials and annuals. Perennials will provide structure and consistency from year to year, while annuals can be changed out seasonally to refresh the look of your garden. Choose plants with varying heights to create a layered effect, with taller plants at the back and shorter ones in front. For the backbone of your flower fence, consider using sturdy, long-blooming perennials. Coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, and daylilies are excellent choices for a country garden. These plants are not only beautiful, but also low-maintenance and drought-tolerant once established, making them perfect for a rural setting. Incorporate plants with different blooming times to ensure your flower fence remains colorful throughout the growing season. Early spring bulbs, like daffodils and tulips, can provide a cheerful welcome after a long winter. As spring progresses, peonies and irises can take center stage. Summer can bring a riot of color with zinnias, cosmos, and sunflowers, while fall asters and chrysanthemums can carry the display into the cooler months. Don't forget to include some evergreen plants in your flower fence design. These will provide structure and interest during the winter months when other plants have died back. Boxwoods, small conifers, or evergreen perennials like hellebores can serve this purpose beautifully. Consider incorporating climbing plants into your flower fence design. A simple trellis or archway over your pathway can support climbing roses, clematis, or morning glories, creating a stunning entrance to your property. These vertical elements add height and drama to your garden design. Fragrance is an important consideration when creating a welcoming garden entrance. Include some scented plants near your pathway to engage all the senses. Lavender, rosemary, and garden phlox are all excellent choices that thrive in rural settings and provide delightful scents. Remember to consider the wildlife when planning your flower fence. Many of the plants mentioned are excellent for attracting pollinators, like bees and butterflies. You might also want to include plants that produce berries or seeds to attract birds, adding another layer of life and movement to your garden. As you design your flower fence, think about creating a rhythm with repeating plants or colors. This doesn't mean you need to plant in rigid patterns, but rather that you should use repetition to create a sense of cohesion. For example, you might use the same variety of tall grass every few feet along your fence, or repeat a particular color scheme at intervals. Don't be afraid to incorporate edible plants into your flower fence design. Many herbs not only look beautiful, but also provide useful ingredients for cooking. Sage, thyme, and oregano all have attractive foliage and flowers, and their scent will be released as visitors brush past them on the path. When it comes to maintaining your flower fence, embrace a slightly wild, natural look. This fits perfectly with the rural aesthetic and requires less maintenance than a more manicured style. Allow plants to self-seed and spread naturally within reason, creating a lush, abundant look. Consider adding some ornamental grasses to your flower fence design. These provide movement and sound as they rustle in the breeze, adding another sensory element to your garden. Varieties like fountain grass, feather reed grass, or native prairie grasses can provide height and structure while blending beautifully with flowering plants. As you plan your welcoming pathway and flower fence, don't forget to consider the view from inside your home. Position some of your most spectacular plants where they can be enjoyed from your windows, creating a beautiful outlook even when you're indoors. Lighting is an important aspect of creating a welcoming entrance. Solar-powered path lights can provide gentle illumination in the evening, guiding visitors along your pathway. For a more whimsical touch, consider hanging string lights along your flower fence or in nearby trees. Remember that your garden is a reflection of your local environment. Choose plants that are well suited to your climate and soil conditions. Native plants are often an excellent choice, as they're adapted to local conditions and tend to be low maintenance once established. Don't forget to include some seating along your pathway or near your flower fence. A simple bench or a pair of Adirondack chairs can provide a spot to sit and enjoy the beauty of your garden. Position these where they offer a good view of your flower fence or other garden features. Consider adding some decorative elements to your garden design. Rustic items like old watering cans, weathered wood signs, or antique garden tools can add charm and character to your rural garden. As your flower fence matures, don't be afraid to edit and refine your plantings. Some plants may outgrow their space or not perform as well as expected. Gardening is an ongoing process, and your design can evolve over time as you learn what works best in your specific conditions. Remember to consider the changing seasons when planning your garden. While summer might be the showstopper, there's beauty to be found year-round. Spring bulbs, autumn foliage, and even the stark beauty of bare branches against winter snow can all contribute to the appeal of your garden throughout the year. Water features can add another dimension to your rural garden design. A small pond or a simple fountain near your pathway can provide a focal point and attract wildlife. Don't overlook the importance of proper soil preparation when establishing your flower fence. Good soil is the foundation of a healthy garden. Consider adding organic matter like compost to improve soil structure and fertility. This will give your plants the best possible start and lead to a more robust, beautiful display. As you develop your rural garden pathway and flower fence, think about creating distinct zones or garden rooms. These can be subtly defined by changes in planting style or more overtly separated by archways or changes in path direction. This approach creates a sense of journey and discovery as visitors move through your garden. don't forget about fall and winter interest when planning your flower fence. Plants with interesting seed heads, like coneflowers or sedums, can provide visual interest long after their blooms have faded. Similarly, plants with colorful berries or interesting bark can add beauty to your garden in the colder months. Consider the role of trees in your overall garden design. A well-placed ornamental tree can provide a focal point along your pathway or act as a backdrop to your flower fence. Flowering trees like dogwoods or crabapples can add another layer of blooms to your display, while trees with interesting foliage or bark can provide year-round interest. Remember that sustainability can be beautifully incorporated into your rural garden design. Consider installing a rain barrel to collect water for irrigation, or create a composting area to recycle garden waste. These practical elements can be discreetly integrated into your overall design while supporting a more eco-friendly approach to gardening. As you develop your garden over time, consider keeping a garden journal. This can help you track which plants perform well in your specific conditions, when different species bloom, and any challenges you encounter. This information will be invaluable as you continue to refine and improve your garden design. Consider creating habitat zones within your garden. For example, you might have a sunny, dry area planted with drought-tolerant species and a shadier, damper area with moisture-loving plants. This approach not only creates visual variety, but also allows you to cater to a wider range of plant species, increasing the biodiversity of your garden. Don't forget about the importance of negative space in your garden design. While a flower fence can be lush and abundant, it's important to include some areas of open space as well. These can be simple stretches of lawn, a gravel area, or even a patch of meadow. These open areas provide visual rest and help to highlight the beauty of your plantings. Remember that your garden is a reflection of you and your home. Consider the role of garden structures in your overall design. A simple arbor or pergola can provide support for climbing plants, while also creating a sense of entrance or transition in your garden. These structures can be particularly effective when placed at the beginning or end of your pathway. Don't overlook the importance of garden edges in your design. The transition between your pathway and your flower fence is an opportunity to add another layer of interest. You might use decorative edging materials, create a small rock garden, or plant low-growing ground covers to soften the transition. Remember that gardening is an ongoing process. Your flower fence and pathway will evolve over time as plants grow, seasons change, and your own tastes develop. Embrace this evolution and be open to making changes and refinements to your design over the years. Consider incorporating some heritage or heirloom plants into your flower fence design. These varieties, often passed down through generations, can add a sense of history and continuity to your garden. They're often well-suited to rural gardens and can be a great conversation starter with visitors. Don't forget about the practical aspects of garden maintenance when designing your space. Ensure that you can easily access all areas of your flower fence for weeding, pruning, and other care tasks. Consider installing a discreet irrigation system to make watering easier, especially in drier areas. Remember that your rural garden can be a place of learning and discovery, especially for children. Consider incorporating elements that encourage exploration and interaction, such as a small vegetable patch, a butterfly garden, or plants with interesting seed pods or berries. As your garden matures, consider propagating your own plants. Many perennials can be easily divided or grown from cuttings. This not only saves money, but also allows you to share plants with friends and neighbors, fostering a sense of community through gardening. Don't underestimate the power of simplicity in your garden design. While it's tempting to include a wide variety of plants, sometimes a mass planting of a single species can create a powerful visual impact. This approach can be particularly effective in creating a sense of calm and cohesion in your garden. As we conclude our exploration of rural garden landscaping, with its welcoming pathways and charming flower fences, we hope you're inspired to create your own outdoor oasis. If you've enjoyed this journey through the world of rural garden design and want more ideas for creating your own outdoor retreat, don't forget to subscribe to Outdoor Oasis Ideas. Hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos, covering everything from seasonal gardening tips to landscape design inspiration. Until next time, happy gardening.